Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Heart to Heart with Hads. I'm so happy to have you here. I know on the last episode I said that my mom was going to be joining me for this one, but if you know her, then you know she's so busy. So I was like, Mom, I don't have time to wait for you tonight. Like, I'm going to bed. I go to bed early at 9, and sometimes she doesn't get home until like 9 or 9:30 from all of her job duties. So I was like, we're gonna have to postpone, and that's really sad, Mom. She's like, we can make it work. And I was like, no, not this week. You're too busy. So next time that we decide to podcast, we're gonna have to set a date in advance. We were supposed to record this weekend, but we just never got to it. We were too busy watching Cheers. So yeah, really, that's all I did last weekend was watch some live cheer, and laid outside, got a little bit of sun, and really just chilled out. I'm super lame when it comes to doing things on the weekends. Didn't hang out with my boyfriend. He was doing his own thing, which is fine. Hopefully, we will hang out this weekend. We'll keep you updated on next episode. But honestly, I'm just such a homebody. Like, you will not really catch me doing much. Plus, like, I feel like I really grind so hard during the week that on the weekends, I just want to chill. And, when you're at work, like, you're so social if you do work. It's just like, I need a break from doing any type of social thing. I know it sounds bad. And actually, I was just like texting my sister about this topic, actually, about, well, I'm not gonna just drop it all, but basically, like, if you don't go like out to eat, or if you don't drink, like, you have no social life. And I just think that is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. That may be true, like, but at the same time, there's so many people that I know, including myself, that can go into any social setting and don't have to eat or drink alcohol to enjoy themselves in what they're doing. And I think it's so prevalent in our day and age, like in our society, that in order to have a good time, have fun, to socialize, you have to be eating or drinking. And we could just make like a whole another podcast episode on that in itself, but there's so many other things that you can do with your friends or family that doesn't involve eating. And if it does, like, I don't understand what the issue is. Like, you're the oddball out for choosing a healthier lifestyle. I don't get that. It's because it's become so prevalent in our society that you have to make every social gathering something where you need to be eating, you need to be eating like shit, or like you need to have an alcoholic beverage. And every time, not every time, a lot of times, like, if I go out with my boyfriend and like some of his friends or like family or stuff like that, like, Hads, you're not drinking, you're not eating. And it's like, nope, like, I already ate and I don't drink. And that's just a preference for me. I'm not saying like one's superior to the other, but I just don't get the pressure that people put on others, or the awkwardness that they make them feel when they say, I'm not drinking, or I don't want to drink, or simply, I don't drink alcohol. Like, I've made that decision where I'm done with it. Like, I just, I don't like it. And I'm not trying to like persuade you to not. I'm just saying, like, I know the effects that it's had on people that I love. And I know I've said this so many times, but that's genuinely why I don't. And I know there's just like a lot of consequences that come with it. And every time that I have like had a drink or had too much to drink, I just get like, I've gotten so shit faced, and I just don't like that. And then I feel terrible the next day. And then it's like, it takes me a whole week to even start feeling like myself again. So I did not mean to just go off on that little tangent. That's not what this episode's about. But I was just thinking about some like stuff that I had on my mind. And those were a couple of them. So If that resonates with you, good. If not, good as well. I mean, to each their own, but I just think, like I said, we don't need to have this weird, like, we don't need to be so, what's the word I'm trying to look for? We don't have to make not drinking like such a big deal. Like, just, it's not a big of a deal. Like, I'm not sitting here like hounding you, like, why you drink that beer? Like, when I'm in a social setting, it's like, you don't need to comment. I just wish people would not comment on it in general. Like, if someone's not doing what you're doing, just like leave it be. Like, why does it matter? You know? Worry about yourself. Anyways, today's podcast episode, I kind of, well, me watching Cheer last weekend just kind of like sparked something for me. And then I did competitive cheer growing up, and I also coached. I helped my mom coach for one of the years when I moved back home. And just growing up, okay, so let me just start back. So in high school, well, when I was younger, I always did competitive cheer. And if you don't know, competitive cheer is not like rah rah cheer. Excuse me, acid reflux again. It's it's like think of it like travel, like baseball, like stuff like travel, basketball, volleyball, like same thing but in a cheer setting. And it's not rah rah. It's like you have a routine, you tumble, you stunt, jump. You don't do any sort of cheers. You're not cheering for anybody. You just have a routine and there's levels. But I did competitive cheer growing up. My mom owned a gym. She still does, which they're still so good. Anyways, not the point. So I did cheer, and like I said, if you don't know this, you wear like crop top, long sleeve crop top, and a skirt, okay? A short little ass skirt. And I feel like when you're younger, like you don't really care, how much like what you look like. I feel like you don't start caring until like you start maturing a little bit more in your body, especially females, like, well, males too, honestly, but I feel like once you get to that like middle school age where you're starting to go through puberty and then like things change. Anyways, I feel like a lot of girls, including myself and like some of my friends growing up in cheer, like we struggled with our body image and how we see ourselves, especially because we are in these tight fitting clothes and you're just wanting to look good. And so you have this negative, like, and social media doesn't help, but even just in person, like when you're at competitions, like you see girls, you want to be thin, like you don't want to be in a same thing. It's be the same thing with a swimsuit. Like you don't want to be in a two piece, like rocking something if you're not looking your best. And so I feel like there's just a lot of body image issues within the cheer um realm itself, competitive cheer. And I noticed it when I was doing it, and I feel like I didn't really start to care until, okay, I just like completely lost my train of thought there for a second. But basically what I was saying is when you are getting older and your body's going through these changes, like you want to look slim, like you want to impress people, you want to look good, especially when you're in this um small tight fitting uniform. And so I think that we compare ourselves to girls we see, like I said, on social media. You want to be small, you just want to look petite, you want to look good. And I think, like I said, I noticed it when I was getting a little bit older, and then I noticed like when I was coaching, helping my mom coach, I noticed it within the girls. And it's an issue because this is causing more disordered eating within competitive sports. And I noticed it in two with like track, and I didn't really start um like worrying about how I like looked until I was in high school. So it wasn't really middle school for me. It was more of like a high school thing. And not even towards like till the end of high school, I didn't really start caring about what I looked like as far as like my body goes, because I was always slim, like no matter like what I did or what I ate, like I was just a slim built person. And there was people around me that would always kind of not like be rude to me about it, but like you don't have to worry about it, like all of this. And as someone that was like always slim, I wanted to have like curves, like I wanted to have a little bit of boobs. I wanted to have like a butt, like I always had like a bubble butt, but I wanted to be a little bit thicker, and I was never thicker. And so I just feel like everyone has their own perception of like what they want to look like. Like some people want to be skinny, and like I know body image is like how you feel about your own self, your own body, but it's really hard whenever like growing up people make those comments about you, like you being thin. I remember in high school, not high school, middle school, there was like girls that would be like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had your thigh gap. And I was like, girl, I wish I like had little boobs or something. Like I wish I had my period. Like everyone around me was like matured, and like I didn't really even start to mature until my, I don't even think I started my period until I was like a freshman in high school. And a lot of like people around me were like starting like way sooner than that. And it's just crazy how the girls that did start sooner were like jealous of like me, or like the girls that didn't, that haven't matured yet, and like I was like jealous of them because they had. So it's just kind of like a weird thing. That's kind of like off topic, but I feel like not really, it's still body image, how you like perceive your body. But in it too, like you're in like middle school, high school, like you want to look good for the boys, like. And I was always just like, well, like I'm skinny, flat, no butt, no boobs, girl, like, it is what it is. So I feel like I didn't really like no one like really liked me back then for like, I don't know, but that just goes to show you. I mean, maybe they did. I don't really know. I don't feel like I even had any like boy, like I was just such a goody goody. So that doesn't really even matter. Like as far as that goes. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it just goes to show like how you view your body, like others around you, I feel like don't really perceive it as what you think they might. And our bodies are just like I understand, like obviously I'm gonna advocate for fueling your body, eating nutritious foods, like moving your body, like that's like who I am now. Like I am just all for living a healthier lifestyle. But I also think too, which has also came with me like bodybuilding, like in coaching people, I'm like, I don't even look good enough to be coaching people. Like I have this feeling of like my physique is not even like a good enough physique for coaching or bodybuilding. Like, and I just have this like dialogue in my head all the time of like, why would anybody want to take advice from me when I don't feel like I even look good? And it's like, there's so many people that would be like, would like kill to have my body or your body or just any body in general. And it's like, why do we put so much of our stress and so much of our worth within our body image? Like, I understand that that's my background and that's what I choose to like, my platform is on, is like healthy body, like all of this stuff, but like we cannot put our worth in our bodies and what we look like on the outside, because there's so much more to life than what you look like, and constantly picking yourself apart. And it's something that like I genuinely struggle with on the freaking daily. I'm like, I don't even look like I lift weights. Like what is going on? I'd feel like, and it's so hard, like it's a hard game to play. And that's another thing too, is just like sometimes you just have to, if you're in that rut, like feeling that way, you just stop viewing your like nobody's going to, well, maybe I thought about this too. I was like, well, no one's going to remember me for like my body. They're going to remember me for who I was as a person. But then again, I'm like, that's not entirely true. If health and fitness is part of my identity, people are still going to remember me as health, like health with Hads, But it's deeper than that. It's a deeper rooted issue, and I feel like if you're struggling like with that, just know there's so much more to you, and just like think about all of the things that you do that you're good at that has nothing to do with your body, and there's so much. Like yeah, you may look good aesthetically, but like are you nice? Are you a good human being? Do you treat others with respect? Like do you have purpose in your life? Do you the list could go on, and like I feel like since I am in that bodybuilding like community like world, I feel like that's all that people care about, and that's not true at all, but it's just hard to like grasp my head around. And so I'm just here to tell you that I don't look at people and think like they're this or they're that, so that's their identity. It's so much deeper than that. So, if you're someone, like I said, that's struggling with body image, think of yourself, like, just take yourself out of your body and, like, think of, like, your body is just like a mold of you. And if you were to, like, take your body completely out, like, that's just who you are as a human. Like, we are not our bodies. So, I just wanted to kind of shed light on that topic a little bit, and then kind of dive into more of um like just some of the patterns that I see with athletes and like their disordered eating habits. um and I think when you're younger too, you don't really have knowledge of like what food is and how it best serves your body. And I think that's something that we should be more like diligent on, because I know when I was in high school, I did not I would just eat like straight shit. When I tell you, like, let me just tell you, like my breakfast would, even in like middle school, my dad would take me to school every day, and we would go to the donut shop every single day before school, and I would get like a dozen donut holes and a twist donut or a maple donut. And like I looked forward to that every day, every single day. I'd be like, Dad, should I get a twist today or a maple long john? And then when I got to high school, I was like going to McDonald's every day. I would either go to McDonald's or I would go to Brahms and like a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or I would go to McDonald's and get a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin. And I would never eat at home. And then I don't know what sparked in me. I don't know if it was like competitive cheer. I also did track too. Track was a lot of you wearing spankety spanks. I got on my freaking butt because I'd have a little bit of a bigger butt and freaking a tank top. So still tight clothing. And I was like, man, I gotta really like look good for this. But to backtrack on what I was saying is, if I would have really learned what type of food I needed to fuel my body at a young age and learned about how much of impact that um, lifting weights had on me and me being better at sports, I just feel like I would have been better at sports. And I don't know how else to explain that. So I wish, and my hope, if I have any younger people, like high school girlies, and maybe I do. I know I've had one reach out to me saying that she has watched and listened and she really liked it. So any of my younger girlies, like, I want you to learn how to fuel your body properly, and I don't want you to like eat bad and like junk food like McDonald's and things like that, but I also do not want you to go down this rabbit hole of like I need to starve myself of this many calories and that's the worst. Like there those are the two extremes. I want you to find a balance in the middle of like just eating whole foods, like focusing on fruit, focusing on protein, like do not calorie track, do not do any of that stuff. Just focus on fueling your body properly, getting in protein. Like I even wish like when I was younger I would like drink protein shakes. Like thinking about now, I'm like my kids are gonna be some fucking badasses because first of all, I'm not gonna tell them they can't have this or that, but I'm gonna grow them up in a good foundation of we're gonna eat nutrient dense meals and we're just going to eat to perform well. And I just really wish that was something that would have been instilled in me at a young age. And I think it goes from your upbringing and like what your parents' lifestyle is and who they are. And I'm not saying my parents like were good with nutrition. They weren't bad either, but like they didn't really care. Like sometimes like we would eat like the weirdest shit for dinner. Like we would have like canned green beans and like that's all we would have. And other times we would have like Brahms or like I don't even know cereal, just whatever we had, like scroungers. And sometimes my mom did cook, and we would have like steaks and stuff like that. But we never really truly ate bad. But I just wish that we would have ate better, and I can only change the future of like my kids' lives, and hopefully those of you watching that are younger of like just making sure you're fueling your body properly, not starving it all day. That's another thing I would do is just I wouldn't eat bread. Like this was more in high school. I would like try and eat probably. I don't know. I went through phases. I never really had any set meals. And I think that's another thing too that I would suggest to implement is like making sure, like I said, just fueling your body properly, not starving it, um, eating to fuel your body, and really prioritizing strength training all throughout high school. I know my school like wasn't really huge advocate for that. They were, but they weren't. Like it wasn't a huge deal. So I did lift, but I just didn't do it intentionally. So I hope that just educating you on you want a strong body, and in order to do that you have to eat properly. So going back to like the whole cheer and body image thing, I think being thin is not helping. And I saw so many girls, including like me and my friend, like we've done it too, of just like trying to like eat as little as possible so we could be small. And then it's like you're dying when you're trying to do your cheer routines. You can't even keep up. It's just hard, but like I said, I want to like help inform and empower younger people to, especially like high school age kids. This doesn't just go for girls. I feel like guys can have this issue too. Like, I don't know. You just have to look at it as a longevity thing. And another thing too is like, I know a lot of girls like can like lose their menstrual cycle and things like that. And that's like huge. Like, we don't want that to happen, especially at a super young age. We want to keep our bodies healthy and doing what we can do to preserve all of that. But I guess I kind of went off on a tangent there and not as much about body image. I know I did talk a little bit about just loving your body for what it is and what it does for you. And what I mean by that too is when you love your body, you treat it right and you don't put in bad things into it. So it's not I don't know how else to explain this, but like if you're someone that's like comfortable in your skin, you should have that in the front of your head like I don't want to be putting tons of bad things in here if I really do love my body, if that makes sense. So I guess my goal, like my takeaway from this is to Yes, number one, our worth is not based upon a scale number or how we look, um, rather on how we feel. Okay, sorry, my camera died. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you were not working anymore because my camera died, I'm just so very unprepared when it comes to recording. So hopefully next episode, third time's a charm, we'll get it right. Um, so yeah, what I was saying is, like I said, like body image can affect you, and your mental affects your thoughts, your feelings, and your overall well-being, and the societal standards that we have on what our bodies should look like and how others see us too. So others' perceptions of us play such a big role in everything. So like I said, just keeping staying positive about it, because your worth, like I said, not revolved around your body and what you look like. Um, and they can cause underlying issues, disordered eating, things like that. So knowing how to properly identify when you are feeling these body image issues, don't don't jump to conclusions and fad diets and things that don't work. Focus on creating healthier lifestyle, sustainable habits, and just just there's so many other things that you can do, and just say nice things about yourself, because at the end of the day, no one really cares that much about you and how you think. And I know we're talking about like self, like our own body image, but a lot of it has to do with how we think others view us as well. So being content with who we are, obviously, I promote change and always wanting to better yourself, but just being content with like, I'm I'm not my body. And just just getting rid of those negative thoughts overall. So I know this episode was like really probably not the best one, and it's short. I don't feel like I should have my episodes be super long. I want to keep them kind of sweet and to the point. Probably going to keep them under 30-40 minutes for now, until I can bring on guests, because I feel like it's easier to create a little bit more conversation that way. It's kind of hard when you're by yourself to have these longer conversations. So, plus my attention span just doesn't stick around for that long either. So, yeah, I really hope that me shedding some light on my past experiences with body image issues, and know that it's normal too. Like, if you are going through these body image issues, like, it's not a bad thing, but it's not something that we should like constantly be thinking about how we look. And so, if you are someone that's doing that, I would challenge you to, stay off social media, like, don't body check, and like, do things to truly like make yourself feel better about yourself. And I know this is hard for me, like when I'm not like my most leanest self, I don't feel the best in certain clothes. And so just making sure that your clothes fit you in a way that's good. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, don't try and fit into like, clothes are not there for you to like squeeze into. There's clothes that will fit you good, make you look good, and I truly believe that. So that's something I've had to learn too, is like, I can't fit in clothes that I can fit into when I'm in prep or when I was younger or 5 years ago, and that's completely fine. So that's just another aspect too that to think about. But also like, make sure like you are doing things to keep yourself healthy and not going down a rabbit hole of trying to, you know, be someone or try and be something that you're really not. And now I just feel like I'm going on a tangent here, but you get the gist of it. Like, appreciate your body and all that it does for you and stop looking at it as shameful. That's a good word. Stop being ashamed of your body and looking at it in a negative way, no matter where you're at in your journey, because there's so much more to it. And I'm looking at this cute little thing we have on our wall. It says, be strong, be beautiful, be you. So I really hope this help resonate with some of you, and give you, just shed some light, like I said, on we aren't our bodies. And I think another thing too is like people who have never really struggled with like disordered eating and things like that, like they don't have that big of an issue. Like I don't know, they kind of go flip flopped, like back and forth. It can either be you have disordered eating and it's causing these bad body images, or you have had bad body image and it started something with the disordered eating. So they go back and forth. But overall, if you are struggling, like, find someone to help you and guide you on a path, and take my advice. Like, I struggle with it too, and it's not something that's ever gonna fully, go away. But like I said, like, something that's helped me is just like stop looking in the mirror so much, like showing all your stuff. Like, don't even give yourself a chance to even do that. Um, it helps me. I know that for a fact. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up this episode here. Hopefully, I can get my mom in on the next one if she's not super busy. And I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, if you found it helpful, useful, be sure to give it a like and a subscribe and a download and whatever. And if you would kindly leave me a review, I know it's only the second episode, but hey, if you found that it resonated with you and you learned something from it and it's helped you, by all means, give it a review, because it kind of helps me just grow and keep, like I said, I'm not doing this for like fame or money or anything, but I just want to share my knowledge and my journeys and struggles with you all. So I just want to be that person that you can relate to. And if you do enjoy it, leave a review. I've actually gotten a couple of like DMs and texts saying how much they really enjoyed it, and can't wait for the next one. So stay tuned for the next one. If you have any topic ideas, send them on my Instagram. I think it's like heart.to.heart.pod on Instagram, and I would be happy to do a topic over it. I think that I'll probably drop a Q&A for one of the next episodes coming up. I'll try to do a Q&A like once a month, so that it just like keeps listeners engaged, especially the ones that ask the questions. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and we will see you next week for episode number 3.